This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. As most of you probably know, President Trump's administration has gone through a very, how do we put this? A very fascinating first year. And obviously, we still got a couple weeks to go before the end of the year, but really, it has been the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde of administrations, and I think that's the best way to put it, because one day, it seems like this administration, they do something baffling, they say something stupid, they make a big mistake that really shouldn't have happened at all, but then the very next day, they do very good stuff that we voted for, stuff that is objectively great. And that's why this is so frustrating. It's like, why? Why can't it be consistent? Why is it the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde of administrations? And that's how I describe it. It is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know what you're getting. You have no clue if you're getting the good parts of the admin or the bad parts. And in the last couple of weeks, it's been mostly bad. It's been a very bad stretch for Trump and his administration. And this interview on Fox News with Laura Ingraham, it perfectly represents this administration. Now, for those that don't know what's been going on, Laura Ingraham had an interview with President Trump, and it's been an utter disaster. It's been such a mess for Trump that it makes you really wonder, is this the thing that finally breaks the base? Yes, it's that bad. We're not talking about just one slip up and that's it. It's basically the entire interview. And it wasn't just bad or out of touch, it was both, but really, it was a slap in the face to every single Trump supporter, even for those that have supported him for a couple months, it's a slap in the face. It was that bad. It was just baffling. You have some of the most pro-Trump people out there saying, this is not the Trump we voted for. This is not the Trump that we've supported for years. It was that bad. And the disaster started when they talked about cost of living and the economy. It's interchangeable, really, but you get the point. Inflation, the economy, cost of living, blah, blah, blah. That's what they were talking about. And President Trump's admin, even before this, they have been dropping the ball. Now, objectively, stuff like inflation, it has gone down. That's true. No one should deny that. You look at some of the inflation metrics, it has gone down slightly. But for most people, that's not enough. They were expecting a serious decrease in inflation, not just a slight improvement. And it shows the polling. Trump right now is below water on inflation by 25 points, on the economy by 15. So people are saying right now, they don't like the way this administration has handled the economy. And can you blame people? When you have Trump going around and saying that the economy is booming and inflation isn't that bad, it just seems out of touch. It's the same thing Biden did for 4 years. He just said Bidenomics. We have the greatest economy ever. And everyone saw right through that. It's like, no, we don't. It's gotten slightly better under Trump, but it's not enough. It's not enough to warrant, we have a booming economy, everybody. It's seen as out of touch. And when you factor in, a lot of people don't think he's done enough on the issue. That's why he's at -25 or -15. Well, during this interview, Laura Ingraham asked about that. Like, hey, what the average person is saying, inflation is still really bad, and we have a huge problem with the jobs market. And President Trump said these polls saying that the majority of Americans say they're anxious about their finances, it's fake. They're all fake, and it's a con job by the Democrat Party. Well, hold up. What? It's a con job. Are you serious right now? Does nobody see the problem with that? You don't tell voters, oh, you're wrong about the economy. Everything's perfectly fine. Biden did the same crap. Even Obama, to a lesser extent. They did the same shit, and it blew up in their face. But now you have Trump saying, oh, everything's perfectly fine. What are you talking about? Now, I'm not expecting Trump to say, yeah, everything's crap now. We have the worst economy on earth. Listen, the president should not say that, obviously. But just say, hey, it's in some aspects of the economy and inflation, it's gotten better. Like, for example, cost of gas or the cost of eggs or whatever. That's gotten slightly better. But we have to do more with the price of, I don't know, beef or something. Just something like that. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say everything's on fire, it's all bad. You don't have to say anything like that. But for whatever reason, Trump is insistent on this idea that every poll's fake, everybody loves the economy. No! And I know for a fact he is saying this because there are some crap pollsters that are giving him fake information. That's what's going on here, by the way. That's why Trump really thinks everything's perfectly fine. Oh, because his pollsters are showing it's all great, it's all a perfect situation. They're full of crap. And that's why he's saying these numbers are fake. Because he has his own pollsters and they're gaslighting him. They're saying it's all perfectly fine. It's just insane. But what gets me the most and really proves my point that this is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde show, you have Stephen Miller, one of the best parts of this admin by far, go on Fox News 5 minutes later and say, hey, we're focused on affordability. And yeah, Thanksgiving meals, they might be cheaper, but we have to do more. President Trump is not content with just some things being more affordable. That's all Trump has to say. Stephen Miller, for crying out loud, is saying this. So that's why I'm confused about this. Why is Trump going around and saying everything's perfectly fine? But then people that understand what's going on, like Stephen Miller, they say the opposite. They say Trump has to focus more on it. And in fact, he is. He's not happy about it. You see the problem? It's why I call it Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know. Miller says something really good, in touch with reality, and 5 minutes later, Trump says the opposite. It's just baffling. It's just insane. What are we doing? And to top it all off, this wasn't even the worst part of the interview. Yeah, I said that. Him saying it's a con job to talk about the economy and cost of living, that wasn't the most damning part of this interview, which is crazy to say. Like, are you serious? That wasn't the bad part? No, because 2 minutes later, he was asked by Laura Ingraham about these Chinese students coming to the U.S., which is a big issue for a lot of people. Like, hey, is this a big security concern? Should we really import this many people from China? What's going on here? Now, she did overstate how many are coming each year. I think she said 600,000. It's closer to 300,000. So it was kind of a trap by Ingraham. But either way, it doesn't matter if it's 300,000 or 600,000. That's a lot of students. And it's a big security concern. Now, there was a million different ways to answer this question. You could have, at the bare minimum, say, listen, if these people are highly qualified, if they're skilled, if they're loyal to the United States, maybe we should let them in. You could have said that at the bare minimum. That's how you could have salvaged this, but he didn't. And instead, his reasoning for supporting these students coming to America is because, and this is real, by the way, half of the colleges in the U.S. would go out of business. Yeah. And he would also say, I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. Really? This is what you're going to say about an issue that a lot of Trump voters don't like. It's a big issue for a lot of people. It's a big security concern. And your answer is, well, I know what MAGA wants. I decide what MAGA is, nobody else. And by the way, we gotta support our colleges, especially the historically black colleges. Really? There are so many things wrong with what President Trump said. For starters, I highly doubt, even if every single Chinese student was kicked out of the US, which is not gonna happen, obviously, but if that did happen, I highly doubt that any colleges would go out of business. Maybe a select few, maybe a couple, but not half. That is absurd, especially historically black ones. Really? What are you talking about? The demographics of these historically black colleges, they're not very Asian for obvious reasons. It is stupid to suggest that. But even if that was the case, okay, even if that was true, if these colleges have to rely on foreign students, they should go out of business. They should. I won't feel bad for them if they really had to rely on all of these foreign students. They don't have to, by the way. They don't have to do that whatsoever. It's such a stupid answer. And right as this interview was airing, UC Berkeley was on fire. I'm not exaggerating. Within 2 seconds of this interview airing, that's when the shitstorm hit UC Berkeley. Stuff was on fire. People were getting punched, assaulted. It was a mess. It was a disaster. It was right as he said this, as that shit show was going on. Wow, the timing of that was impeccable. It was perfect. I have no clue why Trump said this. You could have said a million different things. You could have said, we got to do more vetting. We want the best ones. We want the best to stay here if they're loyal. Anything. But no, he had to say, we need these students, and I know what MAGA wants the most. But it just gets even worse. You think this was bad? Oh no, the thing that, in my opinion, might be the thing that breaks a lot of people is what he said about H-1B visas. And this has been a big issue for a couple of years now. The American people are getting sick of this scam. They're realizing what it is. It is a scam where these companies, they fire all these employees, and 5 seconds later, after blaming AI, by the way, they claim, oh, we have to fire people because AI is making it more efficient. 2 seconds later, they hire a bunch of people from God knows where, using this H-1B visa scam. So yeah, a lot of people, they don't like it. And Trump, again, could have said a million different things. Hell, just a couple months ago, he was signing executive orders regulating this a little bit. It's not as good as it should have been, not as good as hyped up to be. But still, he signed an executive order to go after the H-1B visas, and they're currently investigating it according to the DOJ or whatever. So you have a million different ways to answer this question. And by some miracle, President Trump picked a one answer that is just bad, that is just so baffling and out of touch. And it makes people wonder what happened to this guy. Now, he says you have to bring in talent. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, the H-1B program, it's a scam. It has to be, in my opinion, abolished. But if it was used as a temporary program, as we train up people in these jobs for manufacturing, that's one thing. And I understand Trump was trying to phrase it as that. But then Laura Ingraham was trying to direct Trump in the right direction. She said, we have plenty of talented people here. And she's right. And this is a big problem with the H-1B visa scam, because there's so many people right now that could get these jobs in America as we speak, but they can't because these companies realize, oh, it's much cheaper to import some guy from God knows where. Who freaking knows where they come from? They pay a lot less for them. That's what's going on. That's what people have a big problem with. And a lot of people, they are currently able to work in these jobs that Trump is claiming that we don't have enough of. So Trump could have used this as an out and just say, yeah, we have plenty of talented people here, but we have to build up the workforce even more, blah, 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 whatever. But he said, you don't have certain talents. People have to learn. You can't take people off the unemployment line and say, go make missiles. He is saying that the American people, we just can't do anything. There's some things we just can't do. This rubbed a lot of people the wrong way for obvious reasons. I wonder why. We don't have certain talents, really. You could have just said, yeah, we have a lot of talented people here, but we need even more. And as we build up our manufacturing base or whatever, we need temporary jobs to get these factories up and running or whatever. And even then, it's like the H-1B visas, I thought that wasn't meant for these factory jobs. I thought that was meant for these tech jobs. What's going on here? And Trump gives a very shitty example. It's just, why? Why would you say this? This soundbite is going to bite Trump in the ass. and most Republicans the next couple of years. Because he's looking down at people. That's what it sounds like here. That he's looking down at the American people. Oh, you don't have certain talents. What are you talking about? Again, you could argue a million different things. We need these people as a temporary solution as we train up the workforce. There's some jobs that we don't have enough talented people here for. That's all you have to say. But nope, it had to be excuse of, oh, America can't do anything. It's the same crap Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, well, really Ramaswamy, but Musk also. Ramaswamy back in December was arguing. They're American people. They have a shit culture. They're bad people. They are stupid. They're lazy. We need to import people from God knows where. That's what he was saying back then. And you know what happened to him? He was forced out of Doge because of it. So, what's going to happen with Trump here? When he said basically the same thing, he implied, oh, we don't have certain talents. America sucks. We have to import people. That's our solution. It's wow. Wow, wow, wow. I am very much stunned that he said this. And yet again, it's another Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde moment. Back in May or whatever, J.D. Vance gave a perfect answer. He is saying, the American people, we do great things. This idea that the American people can't do anything, that's ridiculous. And that's what he said. This was back in May. And even brought up the fact that President Trump was cracking down on these student visas. What happened to this admin? You have people like Vance, Miller, and a few others. They get it. They get what the people want. But then in the last month and a half, really last couple months, but really the last month or so, Trump himself just has been acting off. This is not the Trump even from a couple months ago. This whole thing doesn't seem right whatsoever. Really, ever since Kirk died, it's been downhill. And it makes you really wonder, was Kirk that big of an impact on Trump for messaging and, the direction of the country? I think so. Because Kirk, say what you will about him, he understood what people wanted. He understood what the base wants. And ever since he's been dead, it's been off the rails. It's been out of touch nonsense like this the entire time. But you keep going because you look at what this administration has actually done. They've done a lot of good. Look at this tweet from America First Insight. It's the amount of people we're importing with these garbage work permits. It's gone way down significantly. It's still way higher than it was back in 2019. But ever since Trump took office, it's been down by millions. Same thing with this tweet from Vince Dow. We are getting real deportations. We're getting real deportations of people, not just, people that crossed the border 5 seconds ago and they get deported. No, we're actually removing people, not at a fast rate. It should be much faster, but it's still a good thing they're doing on the immigration. So how can you say 1 minute ago that we have to stop the scam those H-1B visas, we have to reform the system, cut down the fraud, and have to do something with deportations. But a second later say, actually, we need to import people because Americans are dumb and they're not talented. What's going on here? It's a very frustrating thing. This administration still could reverse course, but man, this is going to be a tough one to come back from. Of all the things Trump said, this is the one thing that if the base finally fractures, it's because of this. You can't say this because it's such a big issue for a lot of people, especially Trump's base. It could fracture the base completely. Again, I think this administration could reverse course, and they have people like Vance and Miller that understand this shit's stupid. But is it too late? I don't know. And I want to be clear, I want Trump to succeed. It's not like I hate Trump or whatever. He's done a lot of good. The first 3 months in particular, it was nearly perfect. The first 3 months of this administration, we got stuff done. We were firing a bunch of people. Deportations were ramping up. It was good. But then it's been downhill ever since. Really since May or April. It's been downhill since then. It's been disaster after disaster, baffling messaging. It's just been bizarre. Again, I think a lot could change the next couple months. I think if things get real bad for Trump's approval rating, which it's going down, who knows? Maybe he realizes, oh, this is stupid. I just can't keep saying the same thing over and over again and expect it to work. It's just not going to work whatsoever. Maybe I should listen to Vance and Miller and stop listening to Susie Wiles. And hey, maybe this H-1B visa scam, maybe we could actually look at reforming it, actually making it, if you can't abolish it, at least restrict it to a point where it's not hurting Americans like it is right now. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.